said, what's the best advice you've ever received? In comedy, the best advice I've ever received is to slow my pace. One of the things that I did at the beginning was I talked too fast, and it was mainly because I was just trying to get through my set list. It was like very scripted. I even held it in my pocket for years, never took it out on stage. I remember someone saying, "It's like you talk too fast. You're going over the laughs." And now I'll even come out on stage and I won't say anything for the longest time. So maybe I went to the other extreme, but that was great comedy advice. Just slow it down. Don't talk so fast. Especially don't go over laughs. Let the laughs play out. In terms of life, some of the best advice I've received has been through TV. From the A-Team, if you apply the principle of face to your life, you can accomplish amazing things. Face did two things when you had to get something to help the A-Team out. And this was a show in the 80s. If you haven't watched the A-Team, you need to go do that. But Face spoke quickly and confidently. And he was able to get helicopters and go into hospitals and get past security just because he would blow the person's mind. The person, well, this guy sounds like he knows what he's doing, and they wouldn't give him a chance to think it through. So talk fast, talk confidently, and it's amazing what you can do. That is great advice. And it's, I'd call it more of a life lesson, but that is one of the greatest life lessons I've ever received. And that came from an 80s TV show. And that is why everybody should watch 80s TV. Great lessons in there.
I'm comedian Timmy Boyle, and this is the greatest live Instagram comedy experience that nobody knew about.
Oh, hey. It is now 7 o'clock on Friday night of Cquarantine season. We don't know how long Cquarantine is going to end, but or how long it's going to be, but I feel in the 400-day range. We got Budweiser's in here, Robert Beckham's in here, Marijane Baker is here. Yo, Robert Beckham. Thank you so much for those of you who are starting to come in here. Well, since I know all of you, my name is Timmy Boyle, and you are watching episode 10 of Calling Comedians in Cquarantine. What I wanted to do going forward here was that on Friday nights, I wanted to do kind of a question-answer thing with you. And so you will become the guest tonight. I'll be looking for some real cool questions. If the question is cool enough, I'll bring you into the live. You're going to get kicked out, though, pretty soon. I mean, because, you know, if you come in, you don't expect to, like, be here for, like, 2-3 minutes. We want to get to as many questions as we can. So, but that's what tonight's going to be about. This is an opportunity for you to ask me something about comedy, about life, and the quirkier the better, quite frankly. This is an opportunity to ask questions that maybe you've always wanted to ask me, or somebody in general, and you figure, well, at least Timmy will answer it if other people won't. Joy is in here. Sarah's in here. Thank you so much for coming. Crystal, welcome. So that's what tonight's going to be about. We've had 8 tremendous guests over the last 9 tremendous guests. Well, 8 tremendous guests, and then one we didn't like, but we're not going to tell you who that was. No, they've all been fantastic. Although sadly, for those of you who are, well, hello, Mia. I haven't seen Mia for a while. So we had one guest last night. And that was David Green, and we actually lost almost all of the good footage because my phone shut off partway through it. So anyways, all of the episodes that have been on so far are going to be on YouTube at Timmy's Shorts. You're going to want to go and check those out. But this is episode 10 of Calling Comedians in Cquarantine. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to ask questions. You guys are going to ask questions. I'm going to invite you in one at a time as I see the questions. You can ask the questions. We'll interact for a little bit. Then I'm going to move on. So and then hopefully you'll hang around and see all the questions and answers from everyone. Because tonight you are the guests, or I'm the guest, and you're all interviewing me, but you're all different, and I'm the only one staying here. Anyways, it doesn't really matter. But here we go. This is episode 10, Calling Comedians in Cquarantine. You are calling here. Let's go to, we're just going to go question at a time. And it has to be a cool question. So here we go. Let's bring in Marijane Baker. She has her question. So Mary, question here on Calling Comedians in Cquarantine. Let's see if the technology works. No? Maybe, maybe not. She probably left. All right. Well, we're going to have to. Oh, there she is. There she is, ladies and gentlemen. Marijane Baker is here. So, Marijane, what's your question?
Okay, so my question is, if you could travel to anywhere in time, when would you go?
This morning, I had a really good sleep, and if I could have that experience again, I would do that. But if you're talking eras, here's the thing. I know some people would want to go back to say like the Western period and all that stuff. Well, there was no medicine. You think we're bad now with like having a virus right now? You could die. I think there was even a movie done about all those things. I would like to just go back and relive the 1980s again. I try my best to live them now, but like start right in 1980, and I wouldn't even try to jump time. I would just live for an entire 10 years soaking in the magic that is the 1980s. Do you like the 1980s? Where would you go?
Well, I am a product of the 1980s, so I definitely appreciate the 80s. I would probably have to say the 60s. I like the whole peace, love, and hippie vibes that go along with it.
Nice. Well,
Yeah,
unfortunately, if you went back there, you would have to wait about 20 years before our lives would cross paths. But I guess if we're both time travelers, we could make it happen along the way.
this is true.
Thank you, Marijane Baker.
All right, have a good night, guys.
All right, let's see here. Who's next in line here with a good question here on episode 10? Budweiser. I'm going to answer this question here, but you got to come up with a cooler question if you want on the show here, Budweiser 1924. The tour, how did the tour start in Guelph? No, the tour ended in Guelph. I'm really even confused by your question. Clear up your question, Budweiser 1924. We'll get back to you. Robert Beckham, okay, let's bring in Robert here because this is a question that I want to look at here. Robert Beckham, I'm going to bring him in. Let's see, and then we're going to go into this question here. This is episode 10 of Calling Comedians in Cquarantine. You're technically calling me, even though I'm calling you. Robert Beckham, how are you, man?
Cooking.
Cooking? Oh, you're always cooking, my friend. Always cooking.
Oh, yeah. Wife's
All right.
cleaning, I'm cooking.
Okay, repeat the question here. What's the question you would ask?
Which one? I had two.
The first one.
Hip.
No, the first one.
Oh, Star Wars or Lord of the Rings?
Okay. As individual movies or as an entire trilogy?
There is only one trilogy.
Well, I guess Star Wars is 3 trilogies.
Yeah.
Kind of a 9-sucker.
The trilogy of trilogies.
Okay, so here's what I'll say. I have seen all of the Star Wars movies. I have seen all of the Lord of the Rings. However, one of them I saw willfully, and the other one I was held captive in a friend's house because he wanted me to watch all 3 Lord of the Rings extended versions all at once. He didn't even watch it with me. He literally sat me down and kept bringing me popcorn to watch it. And I don't even know what happened. All I remember is this 9-hour thing of people stabbing each other with swords. So I'm gonna go Star Wars because I willfully watched it and willfully liked it. How about you?
Okay, have you ever watched the movie Clerks 2?
I have not watched Clerks 2, no. But
Okay.
Is that close to Lord of the Rings?
They have a 5-minute little routine in there about Lord of the Rings versus Star Wars. That you have,
Okay.
if you just YouTube it, it'll come up. About two of the people on the movie arguing over what was better, Lord of the Rings or Star Wars, and I think it puts
What's it called?
into perspective. Clerks 2.
Clerks 2. All right.
Yeah.
And which side do you fall on this?
Star Wars.
Lord of the Rings or Star Wars?
Star Wars.
You're Star Wars too? All right. We can
Yeah.
always be friends. Thank you. There's a fist bump in this socially.
I saw the original Star Wars at the Strand Theater in Simcoe.
Hi, Timmy.
3 times.
Wow.
Hi, Timmy.
Hi, Rena.
How's it going?
Going good.
Good.
You're cooking up a storm.
Yep, as usual.
I'm cooking.
You're cooking. All right. Thank you so much for that question, Robert. We're going to let you guys go and eat, and we're going to move to another one. Thanks, buddy.
Okay, see you,
Have a
bud.
good one. All right, so that was Robert Beckham, Lord of the Rings or Star Wars. Definitely Star Wars. Crash Cody, thank you for coming in today. You are watching episode 10 of Calling Comedians in Cquarantine. This is a question and answer period. If you ask a cool question, I'll invite you in briefly to ask that question live. All right, beautiful. All right, I'm bringing in Crystal right now. Crystal Leffler 5. Crystal, I like your question a lot. Here we go. So this is simply question and answers with Timmy tonight on episode 10. Crystal, hopefully your signal works. What do we got? Are you there? Are you there? No? No, see, the technology thing. Uh-oh. Where is she? Waiting for Crystal. Here we go. This is the problem with doing technology. If we were just in a live show, that would be super. Oh, Crystal declined. Why did Crystal decline? Okay, fine. I'm going to answer her question anyways, even though she declined. But if you could create a secret society, what would it be, and who would you let in? Here's the thing. I have always wanted to start a cult, legitimately. I'm going to move. I don't even like being out in the middle of nowhere, but I think being a cult leader is a pretty awesome job, and I think I could do it rather well. So I don't even know if it would be a secret society. Like, I think I'd be very bold and upfront of like, hey, everybody, here's my cult. Like, if you're going to build a cult, like, you should be proud of the cult is what I'm saying. So I would create a secret cult, but it wouldn't be secret. And what would it be, and who would you let in? It would basically just be probably an 80s themed cult, secret society of sorts. It would everybody would have to just buy in completely to the 80s. And if you didn't buy into the 80s, you would just be brainwashed. So everybody would just be 80s all the time. We'd have 80s music playing, 80s memorabilia all over the place. People would watch 80s cartoons. And basically, I would let in anybody who was willing to follow me. Because, like, as a leader, I mean, what am I going to do? Say, no, you really want to follow me, but you can't be in my cult? No, if you want to follow me, you can be in my cult. So thank you for that question. Let's see here. I am going to mention Robert. We've already brought him in, but Rush or the Hip. I actually didn't listen to either of those. I prefer Bon Jovi, Def Leppard, Beach Boys. That's a little bit of a jump over. And then, of course, Sonny and Cher. As you can see, it's a wide range, but I actually didn't get into Rush or the Hip. Let's see here. Whoever else is in the show right now, understand that this is a show for you to ask me questions. If you have a good, interesting question, I will invite you into the show. I'm not going to go on camera, so don't bother calling me. Sarah wants to know. Okay, so so Budweiser 1924 doesn't want to get in the show. That's fine. No offense taken. But Sarah, oh, look, you're even asking on Sarah's behalf. Come on, Sarah, you could ask your own question. Sarah wants to know the first famous comedian that I met. Well, I think I was probably about 3 when I recognized my own reflection in the mirror. Let's see, okay. I'm sure that wasn't where you were going with that one. The first famous comedian that I met. I haven't actually met a whole lot of comedians. Well, like famous, here's the thing. I've met a lot of comedians, but fame is very subjective, right? Like, I consider Bob Newhart a famous comedian. And I've never met Bob Newhart. I saw him live. In fact, he was the only comedian that I've ever wanted to go see live. Like, that's legitimately, and I finally got a chance to see him perform with my dad was there, and it was me, and it was a beautiful show. But man, I think, like, so I don't know if there's any mainstream big name comics, but I remember when I met Leland Clausen. So Leland Clausen at the time had been doing, he was 10 years, as decorated as you can be, done all the laugh festivals, Just for Laughs, Winnipeg Comedy Festival, all those things, all across Canada, was doing a reality show. At the time, he was one of the most decorated comedians that I had known and come across. But that's because I didn't follow comedians a lot growing up. I was a sitcom kid. So I didn't even know Bob Newhart was a stand-up comic until actually I really loved two of his sitcoms. The third one, whatever. But so I wasn't really walking in those circles, didn't go to a lot of stand-up shows. So I'm going to have to say Leland, and whether or not you consider him famous or not, he should be more famous than he is, quite frankly. He's phenomenal talent. But he'd have to be the highest level comic that I've actually come across and met. Now, someone else might have come across my path and think that they are higher than him in fame. They could very well be, but quite frankly, I don't even know which way to turn out of my house to go to the max. I forget that detail, so I'm certainly not going to remember who I've met over the years. So that's kind of the answer to that question. Let's see here. Oh, Sterling Library. Hey, Sterling Library is here. That's so awesome. I keep having the sniffles here. I don't know if you guys know there's a bug going around. Little thing. Anyways, I got this little sniffles, so I apologize for that. So the Sterling Library is here. Thank you for showing up, Sterling Library. You are watching Calling Comedians in Cquarantine. And for those of you who are all coming in here, usually we every single day at 7 o'clock, we call another comedian and we just talk about life and Cquarantine and comedy in general. But tonight on Fridays, we're going to have a question and answer period where if you ask a cool question, I might even invite you right into the live here. Roy, the problem is I live in the boonies out in Sterling. I don't know. Joy, Charles Manson. What? Wait, hold on. Am I missing a thread here? I got so caught up. No sound. Wait, do I have sound? Somebody help me out here. Do I have sound right now? Somebody just say yes. Somebody say yes. Do I have sound? Are you serious? Okay, good. Thank you. Whew. All right, I saw somewhere that I didn't have sign. I'll probably for that. Joy, I don't even know what the Charles Manson statement is. I was trying to find that, but great reference. I don't even know if I have. Oh, here's what I can say, though, about Charles Manson. It's not even a question, per se, but the Beach Boys were one of my favorite bands when I was in high school. I was a little bit behind the times, but I didn't know until years later that Charles Manson actually had a connection with the Beach Boys. If you don't know about that, you should check that out. Charles Manson and the Beach Boys actually crossed paths, and interesting story. So let's see. Any other questions here that you have for me? Mary Jane's already been in the show, but I am going to answer her question. If you want to get on here and actually come into a live with me, now is the time to ask a cool and interesting question. Marijane Baker said, what's the best advice you've ever received? Wow. In comedy, the best advice I've ever received is to slow my pace. One of the things that I did at the beginning was I talked too fast, and it was mainly because I was just trying to get through my set list. It was like very scripted. I even held it in my pocket for years, never took it out on stage. But I remember someone saying, it's like you talk too fast, you're going over your over the laughs. And I think I took it to the opposite extreme. Now I'll go on stage and sip out of my orange juice. This isn't orange juice, this is just water, because I've lost a lot of gigs because of the virus. So water is the cheapest thing I can find right now. But anyways, now I'll even come out on stage and I won't say anything for the longest time. So maybe I went to the other extreme, but that was great comedy advice. Just slow it down. Don't talk so fast. Especially don't go over laughs. Let the laughs play out. In terms of life, some of the best advice I've received has been through TV. And I've said this before on another episode, but I think one of the most crucial pieces of life lesson that I have received, and if you've already heard this before, it's just good to repeat it, from the A-Team, FACE. I'm going to tell you this. I believe this wholeheartedly. If you apply the principle of FACE to your life, you can accomplish amazing things. FACE did two things when you had to get something to help the A-Team out. And this was a show in the 80s. If you haven't watched the A-Team, you need to go do that. But FACE spoke quickly and confidently. And he was able to get helicopters and go into hospitals and get past security just because he would blow the person's mind. The person, well, this guy sounds like he knows what he's doing, and they wouldn't give him a chance to think it through. So talk fast, talk confidently, and it's amazing what you can do. That is great advice. So it kind of came through a sitcom, but I've turned it into advice, and I'd call it more of a life lesson. But that is one of the greatest life lessons I've ever received, and that came from an 80s TV show, and that is why everybody should watch 80s TV. Great lessons in there. Let's see, here we go. We knew you'd say that, of course you did. We got forehead slaps happening here. what's with the water? Yeah, so Roy, no orange juice 4 nights in a row. I'm telling you, it's slim pickings out here, man. I had to choose to spend my money on the toilet paper, which I have now a roll behind me, or general food. So I've just gone with water. And in fact, you know what? Here's the thing. Water is the best thing to drink. So it's probably a good choice. I know they say you should get the vitamin C, but so if you want to ship me some orange juice, Roy, contact me and I'll give you my address. That would be awesome. Leland is awesome, by the way. Charles Manson was for the cult. Okay, got it. Yeah, man, if I could be Charles Manson without actually killing somebody, that would be pretty cool. Kelly's Green Lounge is in here. Okay, so I know if you want to get on the show here, here's the time for you to ask questions. This is just simply Ask Timmy questions tonight here, Friday night in Sterling. But no, Budweiser 1924 doesn't want to be coming into the live, but it's a good question. How did the comedy circuit start? And if not mistaken, the first show was in Guelph. How did you decide on Guelph, if that's a fact? That is a fact. The comedy circuit that Budweiser 1924 is talking about, and his name's Bob, by the way, like genuinely, that's his real name. I know a lot of people don't think there's people named Bob, but that's it. It's his real name. So the circuit tour is now in season 9. We almost finished season 9. We were supposed to have a couple tours here in April, May, and we've done over 250 shows in Ontario. You can find out all the information of it on upstandingcomedy.ca. But it started with a conversation that Leland Clausen and I had in a hot tub, which is where all great ideas are birthed, quite frankly. Leland and I were in a hot tub, 2009 maybe, just talking about how there was a lack of not only clean entertainment, but clean entertainment on a regular basis. And so people would be like, if you would miss a clean comedy show, and then you'd be panicking and scattering, going like, when's another one going to show up? Like it's the holy grail, we got to try to find it. And so the concept of putting tour stops in the same place ongoing, like a hub, like a comedy club, where people just knew if you missed a show on a regular basis, you could come back. That's what the comedy circuit was based on. We actually started in Guelph. Guelph is the only city, and in fact, not only the only city, but the only building. We have been in that building for every tour over the last 9 years. So it's almost, I think it's like 39 something tours or something, or 40, I've lost track. But it started because Jim Tice, a comic who is now a pastor, he actually, he was a champion for us. He got us set up, actually, I believe he got us set up in the church in Kitchener as well at the time. But he got us in Guelph. And Guelph is the foundational element of the circuit tour. And so we now have 14 cities across Ontario holding 5 clean comedy shows a year. And that was because of a gentleman named Jim Tice, who just really believed in what we had, got us set up in Parkwood Gardens Church in Guelph. And then who would have known that we were heading into season 10 next year? Over almost 30 different headliners from all around North America. A lot of them have been on this show already, and a few of them will show up over the next couple of weeks here on this show at 7 o'clock on Instagram. So, but yes, so hopefully that all answered your question, Bob. Kelly's Green Lounge. Kelly, I'm going to invite you in here, okay? I'm going to invite Kelly's Green Lounge in here. This is question and answer period with Timmy Boyle, but she's not, I don't see her anymore. Kelly, if you're still there, you can invite to be in, you can ask to be in the show. But my favorite Beach Boys song is probably Surfin' USA. And the only reason I say that is because I remember this picture vividly, and I have the photo somewhere, of me in these red, really short shorts, standing on this big, like, cylindrical pillow mat, like pillow, like, I don't know, it's like a cylinder pillow. And I was pretending I was surfing, and I probably was the thinnest human being that you've ever seen before. Maybe I should find that picture and post it. But I tried to pretend to surf in my living room for Surfing USA. So thank you for that question, Kelly. CJ's at the store. Do I need anything? Apparently I need my orange juice. And if you could grab that, that would be awesome. And some rye bread. I'm having a hard time finding marble rye bread. If you can find that, that would be awesome. Here you are. Roy, do you have any siblings? I do. I have one sibling. She She and I used to do everything together. I don't see her very much. She is up in the Huntsville area, actually. I don't know how we both got raised in the same community and the same family and doing the same things, having the same circle of friends. And she could live in an ice hut in the middle of nowhere. And like, I'm very happy actually that this virus has caused me to have to stay in my living room. I feel very comfortable here. But I do have a sibling. She's got, her family's awesome. Her and her husband are amazing. And I have a niece and a nephew up there, Elijah and Dakota. I just want to say hi to them as well. But great family. And so she's 2 years younger than me. And we used to do absolutely everything together. And I do miss her. And I probably should reach out to her a little bit more than I do. But there's a little inside information. CJ, can I call in and sing a TV theme song with you? How about this? There's some great questions coming in here. By the way, stay tuned because this is Ask Timmy questions. There's some really good ones that I see coming up here. CJ, absolutely. Come in right now. If you're still there, you pick one TV theme song and I will do my best to follow along unless I know it. So CJ, if you're there, are you there? Let's just see here. Do I find CJ on my little list? I can't see you on my list. So you might be gone. I don't know. But CJ, if you ask to be in the live at some point, you let me know, and I will absolutely sing a TV theme song. If it's from the 80s, that's even better. Robert Beckham's already been on live, so I'm just going to answer his question here. Ric Flair or Hulk Hogan? Oh, there is not even a debate in that, Robert. It is Hulk Hogan by a mile. I was a Hulkster, not a Hulkster, but a Hulkamaniac. I actually the only live wrestling match that I ever saw was WrestleMania, whatever number it was, down at the Sky Dome. And it was Hulk Hogan versus the Ultimate Warrior. And I don't even know how old I was, but I was old enough to understand the theatrics of the whole thing. And I still was 100% in on this thing. And it was epic. I mean, we were super far back. I was a big arena to be watching wrestling in. And I remember I bought some Ultimate Warrior wristbands, actually. And I remember they came into the ring on like these moving platforms, because the door was so far away from the ring. It was a little cheesy. It was probably the least favorite part about it. But anyways, Hulk Hogan by a mile. In fact, let me just show you there. Wait, there he is right there. That's right. Right there. The Hulkster. Yes, sir. Here's the thing. The Hulk Hogan, I don't know what Ric Flair did. I know he went there, woo! I know he did that. But Hulk Hogan lifted a man named Andre the Giant and slammed that man down to the mat. I make my kids watch that video, that high on the anniversary, every single year. When he slammed Andre the Giant, that was one of the most epic moments. That was on like the headline of the paper the next day. Like national media, international media, probably news, because we didn't have the internet and everything back then. And you woke up the next morning and you're like, oh, and then now we see the video. Google it, seriously. If you're like a young kid or you're a young adult and you don't know, watch something epic. Just type in Hulk Hogan slams Andre the Giant, and you are in for an incredible treat. Life changing. So Hulk Hogan over Ric Flair. All right, I'm liking this. You guys got some good questions tonight. This is a good way. If you could change your name to anything in the world, what would you call yourself? Timmy. Period. I actually want to change my name to just Timmy. Period. I don't even know if period would be in the birth certificate, but Timmy. That's what I would want to do with it. I would like to be like Cher, Madonna. I'm sure there are others. We don't have time to try to think of them all. But anyways, if I could be that one name person, Timmy, that would be the name I would want to change it to. Hot Tub Time Machine 3, I don't know where that is. Was that a great movie, Budweiser, 1924? Everything is East of Guelph, Roy. Welcome to Linda here, who's come in. Tina Marie, 1982. Welcome. Timothy Bannister Comedy. There's a funny guy. You gotta watch his stuff on Instagram. Timothy Bannister Comedy. Really, really enjoy his stuff. So super quirky, and I'm a big fan of the quirky.
Tina Marie, 1982. I hope you're still here. I can't tell who's still in the show and who's not. I hope you've waited to do this. But Tina Marie, if you're still here right now, Tina Marie, Tina Marie, Tina Marie. Here we go. Tina Marie, will you come into the show, Tina Marie? 1982. Can I have? Will you join? Let's do this. Let's do this. Tina Marie, 1982. How are you?
Good. Do you remember me?
Well, you look familiar. You've been to some shows.
Yes, at Humberley.
Oh, nice. So you obviously know that I love the Ninja Turtles.
Yes, because I saw some of your shows.
Beautiful. So your question to me is, what's my favorite Ninja Turtle? I'm going to throw that back to you first, and then I'm going to tell you why I picked mine. Who's your favorite Ninja Turtle?
Michelangelo.
Why? Because he's yellow?
Isn't he orange?
Oh, wait. Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. You're right.
I don't know. Cool, dude.
Of course, it depends on how good your TV is, right? Maybe my color was off.
Yes.
So why do you like Michelangelo?
Because he's a cool dude.
He's a cool dude? Okay.
And he likes people like me.
My favorite Ninja Turtle was Donatello. I like the purple, but I like the staff. I don't know what they call it, but that big staff. And I used to play in Humber College. I used to go down to the arcade. And it's probably one of the reasons why I got kicked out of college. But I used to play the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle video game. And Donatello did this move where he would stick the stick in and you would flip the person over your shoulder. So he grabbed Shredder and put him over the shoulder. And I thought that was the coolest move in the world. And so he forever became my favorite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. So thank you for your support. And thank you for coming on the show today to ask the question. Keep watching, though. We got some good questions coming in here. All right. Thank you.
Welcome.
All right. That was a good question. My favorite Ninja Turtle. Man, I love the 80s. All right. Devin is in here. Let's see here. I got to go back a little bit here. This is your opportunity. This is your opportunity right now to ask a question. We have a few more minutes left in this show here. Do I still have a chance to sing my duet with CJ Rossetti? Here we go. Let's see here. He has asked me to sing a TV theme song, and I hope it's from the 80s. CJ, I can't get you in right now, so if you can put in the request, I'll add you to the show. Let's see here. What else we got? Tina Marie, 1982. She was just on here. But do you remember Homeschool Boy? I absolutely remember Homeschool Boy. One of my favorite people. You know what I loved about the circuit tour? Humberley was so awesome. We had some regulars there, but Homeschool Boy was a huge piece of that show. And I love the fact that in almost every city that we have on the tour across Ontario, there are people in the crowd that have become legends on the tour, and Homeschool Boy will live on forever in those Toronto shows. So you tell him, Tina Marie 1982, if you see him, you tell Homeschool Boy that I said hi. All right, we've got a few more minutes left here. I still haven't been able to sing my duet with CJ. We're having some technical problems there. CJ, if you're still there, try to get back in. A few more questions here with Timmy on calling comedians within Cquarantine. Crystal Leffler 5. If you could give a new comedian a piece of advice to help them get started, I'm assuming then there's a question that says, what would that be? I would say this: don't rush the process. So many times people will come up to me and they'll be like, I want to do comedy. Can I do 10 minutes? It's like, no, you can't do 10 minutes. If you're just starting off, you need to understand that when we talk about doing hour and a half, 2 hour shows, whatever it may be, and people are like, oh my goodness, that's so long. It is long, and it takes years to build up to something like that. But the reality is that a 2 hour show is built 1 minute at a time. And so the best advice I would give any new comic is write a minute, write 2 good jokes, get it down, then write another minute, then write another minute. And just build it like that, but don't try to do too much too fast. Take your time, enjoy the process, and realize that there is no shortcut to doing comedy or live entertainment in general. Now, if you've had stage time, for a lot over your life. Like by the time I started doing comedy, I'd been on the stage in almost every capacity for like 30 years. But you need to understand that is the opportunity right there. That can help speed up some things, but take your time. Remember that it's built 1 minute at a time. Get that first minute done, get that second minute done. Next thing you know, you'll be well on your way to building that setup. Roy met the Hulkster at the St. Petersburg airport flying back from Florida. Roy, you actually met the Hulkster? Oh my man, was he huge? Now here's the thing, Roy. Okay, Roy, are you here right now? Roy, are you here? Where's Roy? Where's Roy? There's Roy. Roy, try. You got to get in here, Roy. Roy is a multi-level black belt, and if Roy can get in here, I want to hear this story right now. Roy.
Hey, Timmy.
How are you?
I'm awesome. How about you?
Oh, man, I am living the life here, quite frankly. I am enjoying a little bit of a break, and I know not everybody's happy, but this has been quite the time.
Mm.
So listen, I want to know this. I know this wasn't so much a question for me, but you're a black belt, right?
7th degree.
7th degree, and you met Hulk Hogan in an airport. Like,
that's right.
Like how big was this dude in real life, side by side? Did you actually were up close to him?
I was right beside him checking in at the counter at the airline, and he obviously had a bodyguard with him, another guy just as big as him.
Yeah.
And I turned to him and I said, "Hey, Hulk, how are you?" And he turned to me and went, "Hey, man, how's it going, dude? Where are you from?" And I went, "I'm from Toronto." "Oh, yeah, man, I've been there many times."
So he was nice.
Oh, he was really nice, like totally cordial, but certainly the persona of the Hulkster.
Yeah. He probably carried that the whole time. Now, you being a 7th degree black belt, be honest, you could have taken him down right then and there, couldn't you?
I'd have taken him out at the knees.
Yeah. Well, actually, it depends on what year it was. I mean, his knees got pretty bad at one point there, but I've seen you. You actually took me on in your dojo, and wasn't quite a fair fight. I mean, I'm pretty good at defending myself, but I think you could take down the Hulkster. That's pretty impressive.
Well, I was worried when you came in on me with that straight-in punch because I wasn't sure how I was going to handle it.
I know. That's kind of where my magic lies. Nobody knows what's going to happen next, Roy. Hey,
exactly.
Thank you for sharing that story live with me. Roy, tell Margaret I said hi, and thanks so much for your support. Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Calling Comedians in Cquarantine. Please take a moment to like, share, subscribe, and ring the little bell so you and your friends don't miss any of the laughs. Episodes will be uploaded here until I run out. And be sure to check out the description below for links to connect with myself or my guests on social media, and also download the podcast version of this show. Until next time, remember, your brain, it's for thinking, not for eating. So just say no to zombies.